And I also, just like Natalie, it was so funny to see her video because I was like, wait, I did that. Starting with SharePoints and working on SharePoint sites. And I was like, wait a minute, I did that. Very similar background, also starting with SharePoint and then kind of getting into Dynamic CRM, as it was called back in the day. So
yeah, we might have to rename the show. Power Platform connects with former hairdressers from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I like it.
Welcome to Power Platform Connections. Today, we've got a fantastic Microsoft MVP as our guest. We're going to talk all about the blogs and contributions you've been making to the community. My name is David Warner. I'm a community program manager for Microsoft. And with me today is
Hugo Bernier. And David and I have worked with each other for so long that we now complete each other's
tax returns.
Not quite that. Today, our guest is the D365 goddess, but in my book, she's just goddess. Dian Taylor.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Goedendag.
Good.
Goeiedag. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all a language. Yeah. That's all part of the language. Yeah, you guys are no accent.
Or goedemorgen, right?
Goedemorgen. Yeah, you got a little more. Yeah,
just
close enough.
I don't want to get my camera dirty.
Dian, thank you for spending some time with us today. Appreciate you making time in your day. So as our guest, why don't you take a few minutes and introduce yourself to the community?
Okay, so my name is Dian Taylor, not Diane. Yes, it is written that way, but it's not pronounced that way. Long story. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I'm working with Dynamics 365 customer engagement with most of the apps, sales, customer service, field service. What else is there? Then I also touch Power Automate, also write about Power Virtual Agents. I currently work for RSM and I'm on the pre-sales side. And I've been working with the product for about, time flies when you're having fun, 12 years now.
Awesome. So as Hugo said, you started when you were 20.
Sure, I'll take it.
Yep. All right, cool. Awesome.
I would have said 16, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had to be a baby at some point, right? So you are from the Netherlands. We always ask some personal stuff to kind of give an introduction to the community to who you are as a person, so that when we get to those in-person events that are coming up, we'll talk about that soon too. There's an opportunity to converse and have a conversation started with you that's not necessarily just around the tech. So you are from the Netherlands, right?
Yes, guilty.
Excellent. Now, one of the things that we usually ask is, what is your favorite place to visit? And oftentimes, I should say most of the time, it's rarely the original place where someone grew up, because you grow up somewhere, it's home. Yes, it's home, but also you want to go see everything else because you're like, I know everything there is to know about that place. You actually said the Netherlands, as well as it also being your favorite food. So give us a little history on how that happened, because that's not always the stereotypical answer to favorite location or favorite food. It's usually opposite from what you grew up with.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because I think the people kind of make the place, right? So I'm not going back necessarily because my hometown is so great. I mean, it's great, but it's not that great. I'd rather go to California or something like that, but it's really the people. So I moved to the US about, it's going to be April is going to be 19 years, but I'm still in touch with the same group of friends that, I grew up with. So every time I go back, I hang out with the same group of people. It's about like 8 or 9 people that, I'm in touch with, and we hang out and we have so much fun. So I think that's the biggest part of it. Also, most of my family is there. My mom is still there. My aunts are still there. My brothers and sisters are still there. So it's always, kind of nice to be able to go back, hang out with friends and, and visit my family and stuff like that. Now, in regards to food, I do not like to eat the country, just so people know. It's actually, yes, Dutch food that I really enjoy, probably also because I am not a really good cook when it comes to, anything that is not Dutch. So, but the typical Dutch food doesn't have a lot of flavor. So, yeah, I can do that.
All right. Check. Not eating country. That changes my next question then, because I have something very specific planned. No, joking aside. So Dutch food, what is your favorite dish when you go back that maybe is not quite, even if you make it here, can't quite match how it's made there by either a restaurant or a friend or family member?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I really like the Dutch pea soup, and somebody actually showed me a little while ago. I saw something come by on Facebook where somebody made it that was not Dutch, and I was like, wait, they can actually make that in different countries. So that was really funny. It's like you said, it's not really the way like my mom makes it, right? Or the way that my friends make it. So I don't know what that is. I'm trying to put the same stuff in it, but it just tastes different. So yeah, split pea soup. Yeah.
Is that earthworm soup?
Erwtensoep. I cannot believe you know that. Yeah, erwtensoep.
Right.
That's
I
right.
might have to set you up.
Chef Hugo strikes again, right?
Oh, I love that. It's so good. Yeah.
So I remember having split pea soup when I was a kid, actually, because we here in Southern California, we've got Solvang nearby, which I think is like a little thematic city here that's either Netherlands or Holland or something like that. And going up there to have the split pea soup was always a big thing. So I could relate to that. Never loved it as a kid, but as you get to adults, sometimes you like things you didn't like as a kid, right? So I can relate to that.
And did you have like roggebrood with that? That's like the dark brown. It's not really bread, but I guess it's a type of bread.
Maybe you could spell that for me and I'll tell you.
I'll leave you a voicemail saying roggebrood 5 million times. How's that?
There you go. Yeah. So, all right. So one of the other things that you said that was kind of fun to talk about is favorite movie. You were very consistent in a lot of this stuff, which is kind of different, but I love it. So a fun thing that I thought about that we could start asking for these favorite locations where you'd want to go. Obviously, this is a show covering Power Platform and talking about Power Platform. What would you do with the Power Platform in Middle Earth? How would you use it to fix, improve, change, do something cool? And we're throwing this at Dian, obviously, with no notice. So she might need to think about it.
Nice. No, I think I would totally, anytime that any of the orcs are picking up their blade, we're going to use Power Automate to like do something like cut their tail off or something like that. I'm sure there's an automated action for that. And then I also think we can do the same thing with like the Eye of Mordor, right? Kind of like throwing a bucket of water anytime that he's trying to attack the elks or something like that. Yeah.
Creative.
I was actually thinking of an app that says you shall pass, not pass.
Swipe left.
You can pick and choose. Yeah. I like it.
All right. So speaking of Power Platform community, you do a lot in the community. You're very active. You've demoed on the community calls before. You spoke at last year's conference. You're speaking at this year's conference. You speak at a lot of other conferences. Tell us a little bit about your love for the community and what it means for you to be able to contribute back to it and spend time with others that are new, as well as collaborating with those that you've met via the community.
I really like presenting and like kind of sharing my knowledge, across the community. I do the same thing within RSM. I do these lunch and learns every time there's something new or exciting. I get like, 15, 20 minutes on this like meeting that we have a lot of people on to really kind of spread the word and stuff like that. I think also becoming pre-sales, you don't really get to do any training with customers and stuff like that anymore, right? So this is kind of, I guess, kind of taking that place where, I mean, honestly, some of the stuff that is coming out right now with Power Virtual Agents, right? There's 2 new things that have just been released, which is amazing, especially with GPT and all that AI stuff that's coming in there. So I think it's just really cool to be in that position to, be able to have the time to create your decks and your content and then share that with the community. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we talked about when you and I were speaking at the Power Platform conference last year, we were kind of geeking out, and you said, look, it doesn't matter if I come home and I'm exhausted and I just, I have no energy left. I will make the time to create a video because that's what drives you. And that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And because the thing is, I think that if you enjoy what you're doing, then it doesn't matter if you're exhausted or not. You're still going to find that energy and the time to do that and to actually create that content. And that's also kind of how that is for me. If I write an article, then I'm like, okay, I'm talking about it. I have some screenshots, but now I want to actually visualize that in like a demo or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, passion will help definitely drive that energy, lifts you up, you get excited about something. So Dian, you do a lot of blogging, you do a lot of videos. Now, we've seen that you kind of keep them balanced, right? Tell us a little bit about how you decided to do one or the other, or keep them balanced. What's your strategy when it comes to blogging? Because I think there's a lot in the community that are looking to do both, or the one or the other. Like, I know Hugo loves to write. He's really good at it. English is a second language for me. It happens to be my first, but I stink so bad that I had to work on it twice. So I do a lot of videos, right? Because it's easier for me just to talk. How do you approach that?
I started doing blog articles, and then I was like, because in the blog articles, you can put like screenshots and stuff like that. But a lot of times I want to show it, I want to demo it, right? So then I started to first write the blog article and then kind of use that blog article as a script of what I'm going to show in the video. And then I'm putting that on YouTube, and then I'm embedding the video also right on my blog, on the blog article. And it's kind of funny too, because a lot of people go like, yeah, I've seen your videos, I've seen a lot of your videos, and I'm not publishing, or I shouldn't say publishing, I'm not really exposing that in like Twitter or LinkedIn, or I'm not posting anything about the videos. I'm only posting my blog because then they will see the video on the bottom. Again, doesn't mean that I don't have to go out and also kind of let people know that there's videos out there. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
And of course, you tag all your blog posts with Power Platform Connects.
Yes, sure. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go back.
We'll send you the money for that later. You have a similar story in your gateway to the Power Platform as one of our previous guests, Natalie.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, like I said, I moved to the US about almost 19 years ago in April, and I had no background in IT whatsoever. I was a hairdresser for 10 plus years, and then I had enough of that. So then I worked in a clothing store. So then I came to this country, and I did some other jobs. I worked for Office Depot. I did some marketing stuff, but I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something in IT. I just didn't know what. So when I was like looking for a particular position, I actually took the job that was lower pay and less time off because it was for a partner. So for me, that was kind of like I'm investing in my future, right? Even though I'm making less right now, this is kind of my way into, getting a position, hopefully in IT. So that's kind of how I started. And I also, just like Natalie, it was so funny to see her video, because I was like, wait, I did that. And then she was talking about SharePoints and putting up, starting with SharePoints and working on SharePoint sites. And I was like, wait a minute, I did that. So that was really, really funny. Yeah, very similar background, also starting with SharePoint and then kind of getting into Dynamics CRM, as it was called back in the day. So yeah, fun.
Yeah, we might have to rename the show. Power Platform connects with former hairdressers from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I like it. We should have we should have a specific group for that.
That's right. And the number of I was noticing, by the way, the number of people who submit blog posts are also, from the Netherlands. So I don't know if there's something going on here.
Must be something at the soap.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's all the peas.
Power Platform pea soup.
Dian, you're also going to be speaking at the upcoming Microsoft 365 conference in Las Vegas in May. What are you going to be presenting about?
I am going to talk about how everything is integrated. I'm going to really talk about, right, so we have Dynamics 365, then we have all of these Microsoft 365 tools, right? Outlook, Exchange, Teams, SharePoint. So I'm going to talk about how all of that is integrated basically from out of the box, right? There's really not a lot that you have to do. And then I'm also doing an introduction session on the power of Dynamics 365 sales. So. Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're going to be speaking at the Power Platform Conference as well. What are you going to be speaking there?
I'm going to talk about Power Virtual Agents. I'm going to have a 25-minute session on kind of doing an intro. What is it? How can we use it? That type of stuff. And then I'm going to go do a 60-minute session and get more, a little bit deeper into the application and everything that comes with it, and some of the new features that were announced and that are now available for us to use. So yeah.
And for people who are not aware of what's going on with the new feature in Power Virtual Agent, do you mind talking about what those new features are?
No. It's actually really, really cool. The first feature was, I believe, early March when they announced it, and that was the conversation booster. And this is really, really cool because, right, just kind of like you were saying, it's using AI. And what you can do is you can just point it to a website. So that could be a website where you have your Q&A, whatever that might be, or it could also just be like RSMUS, like I did in my demo. So if you want to check that out, definitely go to YouTube and take a look at that. But the nice thing with that is that if somebody's interacting with Power Virtual Agents and they're entering some information that does not trigger a topic, then it will try to find an answer on that URL that you put in there in Power Virtual Agent. So this means that you don't have to create topics for that, right? Which is really, really great because it will just take a look at all of the data on that website and then try to find a response from there. And then the second feature is allowing us to basically do things as we're building topics inside of Power Virtual Agent. So you're basically saying like, hey, I want this to happen, right? I want to ask this question. And then when the answer comes, I want to give them 3 options and here are the options. So you just type that out in natural language and then the system will just create that step inside of a topic in Power Virtual Agent. So really cool stuff happening there. Yeah.
And that's very exciting because previously you would have had to actually go in and figure out, okay, well, what are every single question that people are going to ask and create topics for those, then come up with different ways for people to ask that question. And then you have to plug that in. But now you're able to just describe it and it's just fantastic.
Well, and it's not just random stuff from the internet, right? Because I think, like, again, Hugo and I are always kind of playing with ChatGPT, testing stuff out for the Power Platform. And we've seen it come back with a lot of inaccuracies. And so by being able to point it directly at a website and say, just consume that where you are fairly confident that it's going to come back information that you know is accurate or at least useful for your context, super powerful.
Oh, absolutely. And I think also lastly, being able to get up and running with this, with literally the only thing you have to put in is that URL and you're up and running. So even if you don't want it like answering all these complicated questions, you just want people to get information from the website by using PVA, you can get up to running literally in like 10 seconds, which is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the point where I can just say to ChatGPT, do my job for me. And then
that would be nice.
Yeah.
But you still need to want to get paid though. So just make sure. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
They'll just deep fake his face into an AI model.
Well, after all, we all know I'm the world's laziest developer.
True story. All right. Well, Dian, thank you for spending some time with us today. We are excited to see you on the conference road this year. We will be in Vegas both in May as well as October, Hugo and I. So we're looking forward to seeing you. And let's see if we can maybe go have some dinner together, Dian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, it's that time of the episode where we're going to feature you and the amazing content that you've created over the last week and shared with us. Remember, you can always get us to feature it by using hashtag PowerPlatformConnects right there in your tweets and your LinkedIn posts. Just let us know. We would love to feature all the amazing work that you're doing. So, Hugo, what do we got?
Awesome. Thank you, David. So our first article is by Franco Musso. He writes about creating a drag and drop experience to upload case attachments. So in this article, Franco explains how to create a drag and drop experience to upload case attachments to case entities in model-driven apps. And Franco explains really that how you can add a placeholder HTML that acts as a drop zone, and then you can listen to the drop events and then loop over every dropped file, and you get the content, you get the metadata, and then you upload each file as a node attachment regarding the case that you're currently on. And so that's all using the Portal Web APIs inside of Power Pages. It's a great article, and one of the things that he does also is he generates a thumbnail for each uploaded file.
Yeah, and he does a really good job here of doing videos with his blogs too, which I know I appreciate simply because Hugo had mentioned it before. He likes to write blogs. I will sit there and tear apart a blog until the cows come home. And by the time I've deconstructed every sentence to the point that I hate it, I'll never publish it. But a video, I feel like I can get in front of and just be imperfect and explain. And if I fumble over something, I move on and people still get the sense of it. So I really enjoy anyone that puts the effort in to do videos. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Our next article is by Pranav Gurana. And so last time we talked about Pranav, we talked about the from zero to hero, what a 9-year-old kid can teach you about Power Apps. And last time we talked, I said, oh, it's a shame the event's already happened. But Pranav actually reached out on Twitter and said that the event was recorded. So, this is a great presentation. I like how he says that Power Apps doesn't need to be boring or tedious, and that in fact it can be full of fun.
Yeah, I love that he's a hockey fan too, by the way. I mean, I'm especially, I love that. So thank you for that, Pranav. We're going to have to talk some hockey. But I also like that he is, he's promoting edutainment, right? So I know we've had some varying opinions with folks in the past around whether or not education should also be entertaining. But it really should be. If you can't have fun with it and you can't make others laugh, and when you make others laugh, they're going to remember, right? So if you can use some comedy and some jokes to help solidify a point, don't be afraid to do so, because it helps solidify that thought in everyone's minds.
Absolutely. And, the one thing Pranav does show how to build serious apps in his presentation. But again, starting with something fun is always something that helps lower the barrier to adoption. Our next highlight is for something that Michael Migel has sent me. Again, last week, we talked about getting started with Power Apps Design Toolkit, which was something that an open source initiative that Louise Fries has contributed to, among others. And you can actually use the components in the design toolkit to actually build really cool looking apps. And so what Michael has done here is he's got this app for Dataverse for Teams, and he's added a little bit more work to actually make it look a lot cleaner. And this is what you see on the screen here. So great work on that, Michael. Stefan Stuby has also written an article about how to populate a dynamic Microsoft Word template in Power Automate Flow. And so Stefan is an MVP, but one thing that he does at the start of his article, he actually credits Joe Unwin for his blog post, which is a complete guide to creating and populating Word templates with Power Automate. But in the article that Joe explains how difficult it is to handle dynamic file schemas when the file that you input for the template is based on dynamic content. Partly it's because the template IDs change and things like that. So in the article that Joe wrote, he says, look, this is just not going to work. It's not worth it. And this is where Stefan said, hold my beer. I'm going to do this. And so he actually shows how to go through your flow and to populate the fields with the values that are coming from dynamic content, and how you can actually import that in your Word template document and then create a new document. Hey, our next article is from our guest, from Dian Taylor. I almost said Diane by accident. So Dian is an MVP, is our Dynamics 365 goddess. And what she does here, she talks about how Viva Sales has administrator settings that allows you to control things like the user permissions, configuring your payment settings, adding custom fields, and doing things like that. So you can access all the administrator settings in the Viva app in Teams. And the administrator settings are specific for the environment that you sign in from and for your Viva in Outlook. And each environment will have its own set of configuration for Viva Sales. Our next post is by Michael Migel again. And so Michael has actually written a Visual Studio Code extension that really helps with, your Power Apps. And so it actually works with the Power Apps CLI extension in Visual Studio Code, and it adds new views. For example, it adds a view to the Power Apps environment that provides a lot more information about your Power Apps environment. And so one of the other views that's available here is if you have ever struggled with the dependencies in your managed solutions in Dataverse, there's a view that actually allows you to see all the dependencies and how all the things are connected together. And one of my favorite little tidbit here is the ability for you to go into your Solution Explorer and to actually download and unpack a solution directly from within Visual Studio Code.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. If I haven't mentioned that I love the whole better together things, right? Maybe, I don't know, 17 times. I'll mention it again. But I really do love it. VS Code is so powerful, even if you're not at that level yet of a maker or developer. That's okay. It can do a whole bunch, by the way, that you probably didn't even know existed. That doesn't even have anything to do with code. In this case, it does. But I'll give you a little hint. Check out our Sharing is Caring sessions, aka.ms/sharing-is-caring, and we have a session on doing more with VS Code that you didn't even know was possible. So. Check it out. And I think Hugo runs that. He just gets giddy like Tommy Boy when he runs it too. So it's fun to see.
Nice plug, David.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it for us for articles.
All right, everybody, that's it for us today. Thank you for sharing your content. If you'd like us to share other content, don't hesitate. Use that hashtag #PowerPlatformConnects, and we will make sure to scour the interwebs for all of the information that you've been so lovingly creating, and we appreciate. There's also one more way to get involved. Hugo, what is that?
Well, you can go to aka.ms/join the community to actually join the Power Platform community. There, you can help others who are experiencing issues. You can solve their problems, respond to or answer their questions. But you can also ask questions as well. And, who knows? You might even become a super user, one of these people who go above and beyond the call of duty and answer so many questions and just help so many people. We really appreciate all our super users in the community, and we can't wait to see everyone in the community.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, pet alert. Daniel, you have to do the pet alert on this one. You see a pet on the background. One day I'll get this right. All right, let's start this again.
Don't be afraid to do though. Do that. Don't be afraid to do though.
Actually, let me start again.
Don't forget, you can absolutely get us to include all of your content and information. Just use that platform. Yep.